Hello everyone, welcome to Arka Science, and today in this video I will be talking about the retrograde motion of Venus which is happening in the sign of Leo for all 12 ascendant signs. Today on 23rd of July 2023, Venus has turned retrograde in the sign of Leo, and at this moment of time Venus is in conjunction with Mars in the sign of Leo, and just opposite to Leo we have the sign of Aquarius where Saturn is transiting in its retrograde motion. So Saturn is aspecting Venus by its 7th aspect. At the same time, if we talk about Jupiter, Jupiter is transiting in the sign of Aries along with Rahu. Jupiter is aspecting Venus by its 5th aspect. So multiple planetary impacts are falling or getting more prominence with regards to Leo, with regards to Mars and Venus. And now Venus turns retrograde. It is said that whenever Jupiter and Saturn influences a house, sign or even a planet, the results related to that house, sign or planet gets into realization, gets into physical manifestation, you can say, because Jupiter and Saturn activates that energy. Few days back when Mars-Venus conjunction happened in the sign of Leo, it was a time when new bonding, new type of partnership, relationship, those kind of energies were coming forward. It started. Definitely it was under the impact of Saturn, so definitely it also meant huge amount of commitment and responsibility. But it started. But now if you see that Venus turned retrograde, Venus is moving backwards, and at present Venus is in the Magha nakshatra of Leo, and very soon it will cross the Gandanta. Gandanta means that fire water interface. It will leave the fiery sign of Leo and it will jump into the watery sign of Cancer in the Aslesha nakshatra. So now some kind of conflict of interest might have had arisen. And why I say now, why today itself? Because Moon transits through a sign for 2.5 days. At this moment of time, Moon is transiting in the sign of Virgo. That means a day before also Moon was in the sign of Leo. Whenever certain events are going to get manifested, Moon plays a vital role. While we'll look into particular thing that yes, when the thing will happen, we have to check where the Moon is transiting. 2 days back also Moon entered the sign of Leo, and that was the time when Venus was in the stationary mode. It was in the stationary motion. It was just preparing to turn retrograde. Jupiter and Saturn was aspecting the sign of Leo, aspecting Venus. That means something related to Venus was going to happen. Moon also entered there. That means the mind, the thought process was all ready regarding certain things to happen. But Venus is preparing to retrograde. That means, can it be like our love, our protective influence, our security towards a person, is it taking a backseat? Is it making us to think twice regarding certain things? Is it happening in your life? Because if it is happening, then you can write it down in the comments that if it is happening, if it has started. Because had it been transit of Moon happening in the sign of Leo some other day, I would have said that it is taking some time. But now it is just, it happened. So you can say that whenever you are connecting with a person, now at the personal level also, at the professional level also, there could have been some disturbances, conflict, some kind of unnecessary disputes. You see, there are no reason for that. It is just like that, trust issues. Some hidden things are coming in front of you, which is making you think about it, and you are reacting towards it, and bang. So the energies are quite different this time. It is not like the other Venus retrograde which happened in the past. See, definitely every time a planet turns retrograde, every time a planet turns in the direct motion or stationary, it has got different kinds of influences. I will definitely agree on to that. But this time you see the sign of Leo getting activated, and now only this particular thing happened. Now we have to take it in a different way of predicting the things. Like, if you ask me, then I will say that in my mind I have 3 different ways. First way is that Venus moving backwards. Now Leo is a fiery sign, Leo is a fixed sign, but Venus is moving backwards. It will cross the Gandanta, it will enter the watery sign of Cancer. That also first it will enter the nakshatra of Aslesha. So what will happen? That will be a time. Now you will not feel that. Now it will be like okay, let us reconsider, let us think about it, let us give us an option, okay. Or even our ego can come in front of us. But the moment Venus enters the sign of Cancer, it will jump into the sign of Cancer in the Aslesha nakshatra. There can be all of a sudden some emotional turbulence happening in every one of us, in one way or the other. Now someone will say, no, it is not impacting me. That person is lying to you. Maybe that person is not expressing his or her thoughts, but deep down in the subconscious mind something is going on, because that's what this planetary energy is indicating. Maybe in next 1 week or 2 weeks we will not feel that energy, but the moment Venus enters the sign of Cancer, those things will again come in front of us. It can make us at times very emotional. That will be a time when we will again feel that let us reconcile, let us look into the matter, let us find some solution. This kind of energies will be there. At this moment of time, when we are talking about specifically with regards to Leo, this is the first thing which I am talking about. Second thing is that if Venus is moving backwards, what about the energy concerned with Mars, Saturn and Leo? What we can see is that maybe this is the time when we have to be more practical. Maybe this is the time when we have to look something beyond our emotions. This is the time when we have to actually find the solutions in order to make something correct. Like suppose it may happen that you are in love with someone and some conflict of interest is coming. Why not resolve it? Because that emotional thing will come after a week or 2. Okay, this is the time, let us resolve it. Try to find the solutions. It may happen that that touch of that bond, that security between that 2 person may not be at that level because of that Venus retrograde period, but both you and your partner can look into this matter in different way and try to find the solution. Why not? And definitely, since it is the sign of Leo concerned, this is also a time to look in your own life path, that how you can go ahead and make the things correct. The third way of thinking is that Venus was getting afflicted in the influence of Mars and Saturn. No doubt about that. Venus was getting afflicted. Now Venus is turning back, it is turning retrograde, so slowly and gradually the affliction on Venus will reduce, which is actually a good thing. Although it will make us emotional to some extent, but at least now you will be able to go down deep into your emotions and look for the solutions. Yes, definitely you have to understand that you don't get into any wrong decision making out of your emotions, but definitely Venus will be coming out of affliction. Now you will see that why I talk about all these three things now. Normally we say that Venus is all about love, bonding, relationship, but we have to understand that Venus also deals with our value system. Venus also deals with our family, our near and dear ones. Why? Because Venus rules the sign of Taurus. Taurus is the natural second house of the natural zodiac. It is the second sign. So it deals with our value system, the things which we value the most. Now this thing becomes more important for those people who may ask that suppose I am not in a relationship, suppose I am not connected with anyone, I am not married, or I am not in a partnership, what about me? For them specifically it becomes very important, because what happens, suppose if you are not in a relationship or you are not into any kind of partnership, but you have friends, you have people with whom you connect, you have your family members. Now Venus means the ability of connecting with other person, how well you bond with other person, that is Venus. Now when the bonding becomes very proper, then we feel that yes, let me collaborate with that person, let me get into a partnership with that person, or let me get into a relationship with that person, because we feel that okay, that level of trust, love, loyalty, security, commitment is rising, and now we think about the next step. But initially it is about our connection and bonding, and how that connection and bonding comes through our value system. This is also a time to look back into our value system, into our values, because when the conflict of interest comes, it is about what I want and what that person wants. Okay, and that's when the problem starts. And looking into the fact that Jupiter, which is the significator of the natural second house, when you talk about the significator of the houses, if Taurus is the natural second house, then Jupiter is the significator of Taurus, means you can say that significator of that second house, that energy of second house, values. And Jupiter is at present transiting with Rahu. So this retrograde motion of Venus is going to be very, very, very important for every one of us. It is just like that, either it will build you if you understand the challenges, if you understand the problems, not only you, about that other person also, both of you, then you can definitely come to a solution. Otherwise what will happen, that one small spark can take two beautiful people in two different ways. Because see, Mars is in its direct motion, Mars will march forward. It is Venus which is going back, and by the time again Venus comes forward, it will be like Mars will be far ahead. So I will say this is a time when we have to recheck the things between two people. It is not only about you and your partner, it is about how you are connecting with your values, your idea of how you are connecting with other person. That is very important, because when you look into the other planetary influences, I feel that this is going to be highly impacting us. And I will request every one of you that if you are really feeling this kind of energies, then do comment below. And suppose someone who feels that this kind of situation is just round the corner, any day now, any day soon, this can happen. For them also I will say that it is just a piece of advice, don't hurry into anything. If you are feeling that something is wrong or something may get wrong, try to find the solutions. because these energies are like that, and it is happening. If it is happening or it is going to happen with you, then please do comment below. Okay, let me know. Now I will talk about all the 12 ascendant signs, that how it is going to impact every one of us, and at the same moment I will also ask you to understand that whenever a planetary energies changes, or it retrogrades, or it changes the sign, so it impacts us. Like this particular Venus retrograde, it will impact every one of us because so many planetary influences are there. Okay, so irrespective of where it is transiting, or where the sign Leo or Cancer lies in your horoscope, it will impact you definitely. Okay, depending upon the house where it is lying. But I will say you that the magnitude of impact will depend upon your own personal horoscope, your dasa, where Venus is posited in your horoscope, or suppose if you have retrograde Venus in your horoscope, in that particular case also you need to be very very careful with regards to how you are connecting with other person. Okay, like suppose in a partnership, in a relationship, or suppose you are married, in your married life also, or suppose you have recently came into a relationship, in that case also these kind of things are essential to understand. Okay, so definitely it will have different kinds of flavors and magnitude depending upon our horoscope. And anytime if you want a consultation from me, check the links down in the description section. You can mail me through my email ID, or you can get connected with me through my Facebook or Instagram accounts. You will find all the links down in the description section. And if you are new to this channel, then I will request every one of you to tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video you get notified instantly. Okay, so now let us start with the Aries ascendant. And yes, you can check it from your ascendant sign and your moon sign both. Okay, so come, let us start with the Aries ascendant first. For the Aries ascendant people, this particular retrograde Venus is happening in the sign of Leo in your 5th house. So basically this is a time when I will say that some matters related to your relationship, your bonding between you and your partner at the personal, at the professional level, all of a sudden may arise. Okay, there can be a conflict of interest between you and the other person with whom you are connected. So this is the time I will say that try to avoid get into a new kind of relationship now, at least. Okay, and even if you are getting into a relationship, then I will say that be ready for huge amount of commitment and responsibility, because don't forget Venus will jump into the sign of Cancer on 7th of August. Okay, so that time it will be a moment when some kind of emotional matters may come in front of you. So at this moment of time I will say that some kind of disturbances or disputes or conflict of interest may come all of a sudden between you and your partner. Okay, which you need to look into very carefully. Try to find the solutions rather than getting into that ego battle. Okay, another matter is that Venus rules your 2nd house. Some family matters may all of a sudden come in front of you. Some responsibility regarding your family matters may all of a sudden come on your shoulders all of a sudden, and you have to take care regarding that. If you are associated with any work related to speculation or speculative business, try to avoid it. Don't make any new investment plans as of now. Okay, another thing I can see is that this is a time, if you are thinking to work on your creativity, your creative skills, anything related to art, culture. Okay, in that particular case this is a good time. You can restart it, you can work on it, and with your hard work you will be getting good results. Okay, so that's it for the Aries ascendant people. For the Taurus ascendant people, this retrograde Venus is happening in the 4th house. So this is the time, first of all I will say that Venus is your Lagna lord. So first thing is that during this particular time you need to take care regarding your health, your day-to-day decision making, because there is a possibility that you take a decision and you have to again recheck and reconcile your decision making. Okay, so before you take one step you have to make a proper homework on it, then only take a new decision. Otherwise I will say that it may lead to reversal of your decisions. Okay, this is the first thing. Second thing is that since it is happening in the 4th house, so any matter related to your home has to be rechecked. Okay, or it may come in front of you where you have to take extra responsibility to take care of it. Okay, so any matter related to home, your house, your property, your landed property, your vehicles, and most essentially during this particular time you have to be very careful regarding the health of your mother, because Venus is not only your Lagna Lord, Venus is also your 6th Lord. Now 6th Lord is retrograding in the 4th house, so during this particular time you have to take extra care regarding the health of your mother and regarding anyone with whom you stay in your house. Okay, so your near and dear ones are also concerned over here. Okay, during this particular time I can see one more thing is that you will get good results in your work, in your efforts, with some extra hard work is essential, is needed in order to get the realization of results, because it seems that little bit of work will not do. You have to plan it well and then you have to do the hard work, because it is the 6th Lord after all, and it will ultimately retrograde back into your 3rd house. So that means it seems that your hard work will help your efforts to realize your good results in your life. Okay, so that's it for the Taurus ascendant people. For the Gemini ascendant people, this retrograde motion of Venus is happening in the 3rd house. Now for the Gemini people, 2-3 things I will say which are very important. The first thing which I will say is that since it is happening in the 3rd house and Venus rules your 12th house, for the Gemini people Venus is the 12th Lord retrograding in the 3rd house. So during this particular time certain things may make you feel wonder. Okay, like you start a work and again you lose interest in it. Okay, again you start something else, again you lose interest in it. This kind of feelings can be there, as if you are wondering. So during this particular time I will say that until and unless you are sure about certain things, don't start it. Okay, this is the first thing. Second thing is that suppose if you have any kind of creative talents, like art, culture, creativity, or suppose you are a good speaker, or you are associated with something where communication is very important. So this kind of work which suppose you are doing, or you have this kind of talents, this retrogression of Venus happening in the 3rd house will help you, will encourage you, or I will say it will cooperate you in fulfillment of your that desire. Okay, it will help you out, because for the Gemini people Venus is your 5th Lord and 5th Lord is retrograding in the 3rd house. So that means your creative self-expression is asking for a second chance. So hear your inner call and then you can start it. Means rather than getting into starting 5 works and getting into some kind of confusion, think about it and then start one particular work and follow it. That will give you much more better results. Second thing is that since it is retrograding in the 3rd house and ultimately it will enter your 2nd house, it also means that suppose if you are staying far away and you are thinking to come back to your near and dear ones, come back to visit your family or come back to your home, okay, and you are planning regarding it but you are not getting a proper chance to do it, this is the time. This will really help you out to come back from far away place, make a trip to your near and dear ones, visit your family members and have a very good time. It will be a moment when you will feel that emotional touch, that emotional love between you and your near and dear ones. Okay, so this can be a possibility. This is one more thing I can see. Third thing which I can see is that during this particular time, if you plan your efforts properly and you are working on it with proper discipline, proper management, then this will not only lead to success but also help you improve your finances and help you add on wealth and develop it. So this some good things I can see. Okay, because here Mars, which is transiting in the 3rd house in the sign of Leo, will help you out. Okay, so these are the things which you need to be very careful. One more thing is that since Venus rules your 5th house and 12th house, some use of imagination can be there. You can use your imaginative power in order to express yourself in a more proper manner. But at the same time, I will also say that since it is the house of communication, whom you are communicating, what you are communicating during this particular time, you need to be a bit careful. So take some time before you say something, take some time before you start some work, look into it and then you start. So that's it for the Gemini ascendant people. For the Cancer ascendant people, this particular retrograde motion of Venus is happening in the second house, and I will say that since Venus is a very important planet for the Cancer ascendant people, it rules your 4th house and 11th house, so, and it is retrograding in the second house. So basically this is a time when your earnings will improve. There is a considerable amount of chances to improve your finances and wealth. Okay, there is a chance of improving your storage of income, your savings. Okay, or suppose if you are thinking to start some new kind of investment, you can do it. Okay, but I will say that try to avoid any kind of speculative type of thing. Try to avoid any kind of investments which requires speculation, because Venus is retrograde. Okay, so I will say that although it will help you, it will cooperate you to improve your finances, make you do some good investments. So try to make some long term investments. Why? Because just opposite to second house, you have Saturn transiting in the 8th house in the retrograde motion, and Saturn is aspecting your 5th house. Mars is also transiting in the 5th house, second house, and it is aspecting your 5th house. Okay, so I will say during this particular time, although you will get chance to improve your finances, but don't make any decisions or investments regarding speculation or speculative type of things. Okay, because since Venus is retrograding in the second house, this is also a time when you may get connected with your family members in a more better manner. You will be able to take proper decisions regarding your family, regarding your value system. This is also a time when some family related responsibilities may come in front of you. Okay, so take care regarding those things. And one more thing I will say, some expenditures are also seen. That expenditures can be in some good cause also, but some expenditures are seen. So I will say that take care regarding your health, because ultimately this Venus will move on to your first house. Okay, so you have to take care regarding your own health also, because Venus will be retrograde, and a retrograde planet transiting in the first house. So yes, definitely healthcare is essential during this particular time. Okay. For the Leo ascendant people, Venus will be retrograding in your first house itself. Okay. Now, here one thing I will say you, that this will directly impact your own personality, your own decision making, your discipline, your punctuality. It may happen that you have to take one or more decisions again and again. Means you start something, you do some mistake, or you again feel disinterested towards it, again you start something else. Okay, so you have to be very careful regarding that, because Venus rules your 3rd house and 10th house, your efforts and your work, your career, your profession. So whatever work you do, be it job, be it business, you have to put your efforts, you have to do daily work regarding that, and you cannot change your decisions every now and then, correct? But since Venus is retrograde in the first house, what will happen? It will bring different kinds of scenarios in front of you, where you may feel confused, you may feel or may get into a new kind of dilemma, which will actually force you to reconsider your decisions. So I will say you that before you start something, before you work on something, make a proper list of work, do some homework, then start it. That will give you much more better results, because since it is retrograding in the first house and it is your 10th lord, for the Leo ascendant people, it becomes very essential that while you are dealing with your superiors, while you are dealing with your authorities, or even with your co-workers at your workplace, you need to have a proper standpoint, proper discipline, proper punctuality in your work. That will give you much more better results. Look into this matter very seriously. Okay, Venus will be aspecting your 7th house. So this is also a time some matters related to your bonding between you and your partner. Now that can be at the personal level also, at the professional level also. Some matters may come in, all of a sudden may arise in front of you. some conflict of interest can be there. Okay, so you have to take care regarding those things very properly, in a calm composure, in a proper mind. You cannot get into that ego mode. Okay, because here that slightest of that spark can create big differences. Okay, so you cannot get into that ego mode. Rather, I will say that try to be more considerate, although you may feel it a bit difficult because Leo is a fiery sign. Okay, but still I will say you that try to give some time to your partner. Okay, understand his or her opinion. That will give you much more better results, because ultimately Venus will jump into the 12th house. And one more thing I will say that on 7th of August, when Venus leaves Leo and it enters the sign of Cancer in the 12th house, although it will be bringing out that emotional touch within you, but I will say that transit of Venus in the 12th house will be better for you. Okay, because in the 12th house normally Venus gives very good results in the transit, and since it is the emotional sign, it will calm down your that subconscious mind. It will give you that calmness, that composure. So during this particular time when Venus is transiting in the first house, rather than making any kind of big mistakes or increasing that conflict, I will say that try to be more considerate, more compassionate. Okay, giving more importance to the commitment. That will give you much more better results. Okay, one more thing I can see that some travels to some far away places is also possible. Okay, like suppose if you are planning for some kind of transfer or change in job or moving to some far away place, that kind of possibilities are seen during this particular time. Okay, so that's it for the Leo people. For the Virgo ascendant people, this particular transit of Venus in the retrograde motion is happening in the 12th house. Now this thing has to be taken care of. Now again I will say here two things. Venus was afflicted in your 12th house, that is for sure. Now Venus is moving away from your 12th house, so slowly and gradually you will see that Venus, the affliction on Venus will reduce. Now Venus is your 9th lord. Venus is the lord which is responsible for your prosperity, for your fortune, divinity, that spiritual higher knowledge, teachings of your guru and father. Okay, so it is a very important planet for you. It is also your second lord of money, wealth and everything, values, your something which you value the most, something which you possess. Okay, so Venus rules all these things. So Venus retrograding in the 12th house, so that means the affliction on Venus here now will reduce day by day, and by the time it enters your 11th house, it will start giving you very good results. That is for sure. But Venus is a natural benefic planet, and for the Virgo ascendant people, Venus is a wonderful planet. It was transiting in the 12th house. Your 12th house is afflicted, that is for sure. Presence of Venus in the 12th house was protecting that 12th house energy, but now it is going back. It is going back. It is good for Venus, it is good for your second house, it is good for your 9th house. But during this particular time there can be some outrage, some anxiety. Okay, there can be some conflict within your own self, within your own subconscious mind, because more Venus goes backwards, influence of Mars and Saturn will increase in your 6th and 12th axis, because in your 6th house Saturn is transiting, in your 12th house Mars is transiting. Okay, so this kind of thing can be there. So at times there can be some restlessness within you, there can be some disturbances in sleep, or you may also feel that so many hard work has to be done, but you are not getting enough cooperation, or you are not getting enough worth out of it. This kind of feeling can be there initially. Okay, but since I am talking here only about Venus, then I will say that since Venus is going away day by day from your 12th house, so it will be better for Venus. But looking onto your 12th house, that thing can make you feel a bit anxious or restless. Okay, so in both ways you need to be taking care of it. Okay, so I will say that do some yoga, do some exercises, drink a lot of water, and try to be more compassionate towards your partner. That will give you much more better results. Okay, that's it for the Virgo ascendant people. For the Libra ascendant people, this particular transit of Venus in the retrograde motion is happening in the 11th house, and I will say that this is a good transit, I will say, in the retrograde motion with regards to your income, with regards to your financial development and improvement in your that financial goals. Okay, this is a good time that it will improve your finances. You will be able to look forward regarding your goals and aims in your life in a more prompt manner. Okay, because Venus is a Lagna Lord and is retrograding in the 11th house, so you will be doing your hard work at the highest level in order to achieve your goals, in order to achieve the fulfillment of your desires, and it will ultimately improve your income, your improvement in your finances. Okay, and it will give you a good zeal within you, good spirit. Okay, but you have to also understand that here Venus was in connection with Mars, and Venus is going back, and they were aspecting together the 5th house, the 5th lord Saturn. So this is also a time you have to understand that there is a possibility that some kind of conflict or some kind of problems or difficulties may arise in your bonding, in your relationship, or suppose if you have newly got into a relationship, in that particular case also some kind of conflicts can be there. Okay, so some difficulties, some challenges may all of a sudden come in front of you, where you need to take care regarding it very properly, very aptly. Don't get into any kind of ego battles. Okay, I will say regarding that. Another thing is that trying to find the solutions will be much more better rather than getting into some kind of ego thing that okay, let it be. No, you have to find the solutions, and then only that proper commitment and responsibility will come into front. That is what Saturn wants from the 5th house, and Saturn is your yoga karaka planet. It is retrograding in the 5th house for the Libra ascendant people, so it is very important during this particular time. On the other hand, since it is retrograding in the 11th house Venus, very soon it will jump into your 10th house, so ultimately it will help you in your work arena also, in your income, in your work, in your profession, in your career. Ultimately it will be giving you very good results with regards to your name, fame, reputation, your status, and your income, your fulfillment of desires. Okay, this is going to give you very good results. But again, at the same time, the other side of the coin says that some conflict can be there between you and your partner. So during this particular time, suppose if you are connecting with your friends, your network circle, or in your social communication also, you need to be very careful regarding what you are saying, to whom you are saying. Okay, you need to be very careful regarding that, because that can lead to some kind of conflicts, because Mars is also present over there. Okay, in your 11th house. So these are the things which you need to be very careful about. So that's it for the Libra ascendant people. For the Scorpio ascendant people, this particular retrograde motion of Venus is happening in the 10th house, and Venus is your 7th lord and your 12th lord. So here I will say again one thing, that you need to be very careful regarding your bonding, your partnership, your relationship, at the personal level also, at the professional level also. Suppose if you are associated with any person in any kind of relationship or partnership, or suppose if you are associated with any kind of negotiation or collaboration, in that particular case also, what I can see that some kind of conflicts may all of a sudden arise during this particular time. Okay, some conflicts, some disputes may arise, so you have to be very considerate, very compassionate regarding those things. That will give you good results. Otherwise what will happen, that can lead to some kind of unnecessary disturbances and can lead to emotional turbulence, because ultimately after 7th of August what will happen, Venus will jump into the that watery sign of Cancer in your 9th house. Okay, so that time you may feel that emotional touch within you. But now I will say that look into the facts, that you have to find the solutions rather than getting into some kind of conflict. Okay, one more thing, you have to take care regarding your home matters, your family matters. anything related to like health, your personal health, your own health also, and health of your any person living with you in and around you in your home, specifically health of your mother. Okay, near and dear ones. These are the things you need to be very careful about. One more thing is that since it is happening in the 10th house, at your workplace also, how you are connecting with other person, how you are bonding with other person has to be taken care of during this particular time. Pay extra attention to certain matters that you don't get into any kind of unnecessary conflict or dispute with your authorities, with your superiors, or with anyone at your workplace, specifically with your co-workers, because Venus is all about how we connect and bond with other person. And since it is retrograding in the presence of Mars and Saturn in the 10th house, so these matters are very important during this particular time. Okay, one more thing I will say is that some chances of long distance travels or some chances of transfer of your work is possible. Suppose if you are thinking to transfer, you are thinking to move to some other place with regards to your work, okay, or suppose you are thinking to change your project, then during this particular time you may get opportunity to do so. Okay, so that's it for the Scorpio ascendant people. For the Sagittarius ascendant people, this transit of Venus is happening in the retrograde motion in the 9th house, and Venus is your 11th lord, Venus is your 6th lord, and it is retrograding in the 9th house. So during this particular time I will say you that suppose you are connecting with someone, means in your network circle or in your social communication, you need to be very careful that how you are communicating and what you are saying or what you are communicating, because at times there can be some kind of disputes between you and your network circle, with your friends, on small matters, on petty matters. Okay, so you need to be very careful regarding that. During this particular time I will say you that try to avoid taking any kind of loans or debts during this particular time, because Venus is your 6th lord retrograding in the 9th house. Okay, so and ultimately it will retrograde back into 8th house. Okay, so I will say you that try to avoid taking any kind of loans or debts, and during this particular time I will also say your opponents may try to go ahead of you, or your opponents may try to disturb you in one way or the other. So you need to be very careful, because you see since Mars is also present in your 9th house, at times you may feel that your anxiety is getting increased because of this all things. Okay, so at times it may make you a bit anxious. So I will say you that during this particular time, one easy remedy is that since it is happening in the 9th house, you can spend some time in religious activities, you can spend some time in spiritual activities, or you can listen to or take advice from your father, from anyone who is father figure to you, or from your guru, from your elders of your family. That will give you very good results, I will say, because since it is happening in the 9th house, so more you involve yourself into some kind of spiritual and religious activities, more you are getting connected with that divinity, that divine power, that will give you much more better results. Okay, take care regarding the health of your father during this particular time, very essential, I will say. Okay, for the Capricorn ascendant people, this retrograde motion of Venus is happening in the 8th house. Now Venus is a very good planet for the Capricorn ascendant people. It is the yoga karaka planet, it is the 5th lord, it is the 10th lord, but it is retrograding in the 8th house for the Capricorn people. So first and foremost thing which I will say is that there can be some kind of dissatisfaction at your workplace, some matter related to your work, your co-workers, or even with your superiors and authorities can all of a sudden come in front of you, which you may not like. Okay, which can lead to some kind of disinterest or conflict between you and your workplace. Okay, one more thing is that certain matters related to your home, your house, or anyone living at your house may be a reason of anxiety for you during this particular time. There can be some kind of disputes or conflicts which may occur at your home or at your domestic front. Okay, so during this particular time, taking extra care of your mother, taking extra care regarding your home and domestic matters is very essential, because see, this is a temporary phase, this is not a like long phase, this is a temporary phase, but our responsibilities and commitment increases at that time of this kind of challenges. Since it is happening in the 8th house, and I will also say that take care regarding your own health also. Drink extra water, okay, that will give you much more better results. And eat some healthy food which is good for your health, okay, that is very essential during this particular time. Some chances of expenditures are seen, and try to avoid any kind of investments with regards to speculation or speculative businesses during this particular time. That will be very essential for you, because since for the Capricorn people, Venus is the 5th lord, retrograding in the 8th house, in the presence of Mars and aspected by Saturn. So it is very essential that try to avoid investment in any kind of speculation or speculative business, okay, during this particular time. So that's it for the Capricorn ascendant people. For the Aquarius ascendant people, Venus is retrograding in the 7th house. Again, Venus is the Yoga Karaka planet. For the Aquarius people, it is a wonderful planet. It is your 4th lord, it is your 9th lord, retrograding in the 7th house. So normally transit of Venus in the 7th house is considered good. It is retrograding in the 7th house, okay, that's still okay. But since it is in the presence of Mars and Saturn, so some conflict can be there. It is just like that Venus is moving backwards from 7th house, and ultimately on 7th of August it will jump into the 6th house. So certain matters, some conflict of interest can be there, some disputes, all of a sudden it may spark up in front of you, and it will take you down to the significance related to the 6th house, okay. So some disputes can be there, some conflict of interest can be there, some matters which you may like, which your partner may not like, may come in front of you, okay. So at the personal level, at the professional level, I will say that during this particular time you need to be very careful regarding how you are connecting with your partner. Very essential during this particular time. Even if some conflict of interest is coming, some disputes are coming, some matters which you may not like, all of a sudden it is coming in front of you, I will say try to find the solutions for it, because don't forget this Venus will jump onto the 6th house. So this is the time, if you are not taking extra care regarding it, that can elevate to some other level, okay. This is very essential. And since Venus is a very good planet for you, so affliction to Venus is not good. So you have to take extra care, extra responsibility, and that will give you much more better results. Because you see, Aquarius is your ascendant, Saturn is transiting in your ascendant, so it is about you. Saturn is your ascendant lord. It is about you yourself, that how much responsibility and commitment you are putting. So more you put extra love, compassion, and you give extra importance to your opinions led forward by your partner, that will give you much more better results, okay. Otherwise that can lead to some kind of unnecessary disputes and difficulties and challenges, okay. Try to avoid it, because Mars is already transiting in your 7th house, aspected by Saturn. So now Venus is retrograding, so take extra care, be more considerate, that will give you much more better results. For the Pisces ascendant people, Venus is retrograding in your 6th house. Now for the Pisces people, first of all, Venus is a functional malefic planet for the Pisces people. Normally I will say Venus is a functional malefic for the Pisces ascendant people, and it is retrograding in the 6th house. So first and foremost thing I will say you, take care regarding your health. During this particular time, try to avoid any kind of journey, try to avoid any kind of trips. This is also a time, try to avoid taking any kind of loan or debts. This is a time when you can try to pay off your debts, pay off your loans, try to avoid taking it. This is also a time you may feel that you are getting some kind of disturbances by your opponents, or you may feel that your opponents are getting success, okay. Although Mars is transiting in the 6th house, which will help you out, but since Venus is retrograding in the 6th house, so at times you may feel this kind of things, that your opponents are getting some kind of good results as compared to you. but this is a short period, and on 7th of August Venus will leave your 6th house, it will enter your 5th house, so that time the equations will change. But now at this moment of time, 2-3 things you have to be very careful about. Don't get into unnecessary disputes with your co-workers or the people with whom you meet in daily life, okay, at your workplace also. Or suppose if you are feeling that some opponents are there, don't get into unnecessary conflicts during this particular time, okay. Take care regarding your health, try to avoid your short trips. And yes, since Venus is the significator of 7th house, retrograding in the 6th house, so take care regarding the matters related to your relationship, your partnership, and health of your partner, specifically with regards to personal level also, okay. And if you are associated with anything related to some kind of legal proceedings or legal case, in that case also you need to be a bit careful, because some matters may all of a sudden arise, which may be some kind of creating some kind of difficulties or challenges, okay, in case of legal proceedings and legal cases, suppose if you are associated in that case, okay. So take care regarding these things. I will say you that ultimately by the time first week of August passes by, Venus enters your 5th house, that time it will give you much more better results as compared to now. So during this next 2 weeks, take care regarding these things, okay. So that's it for the Pisces ascendant people. So now, as I talked about all the 12 ascendant signs, hope you have liked this video. If you have liked this video, press the like button, share to your near and dear ones, because this one is very essential for every one of us. If you share it to your near and dear ones, they will be able to know about this particular planetary energies and how it is going to impact every one of us, okay. If you can connect with me through my Facebook or Instagram accounts, you can mail me through my email ID for any kind of consultation. You can find the links down in the description section. If you are new to this channel, tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video, you get notified instantly. So I am signing off for today. Thanking you. Bye bye.